welcome to the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 460. I'm Adam, and you gave me your word, you microcephalic apostate. And here's Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
It's science fiction.
Ian Bissett.
Perry, it started.
Mary Lang.
Shut up.
And hopefully now Robert's found a quote. Robert Haynes.
Do shut up and go away.
Yeah, but you can hear. Sorry about that, Kirby. That's normally my job to say things like that. What about your quote, though, Robert?
Save your breath for the Timelash Doctor. Most people depart with a scream.
Right, I'm going to have another go at my... You gave me your word, you microcephalic apostate. That's better.
It's apostate anyway. He's saying it wrong.
Apostate? That's not what he says. It's
yes.
apostate, he says.
No, he's saying it wrong, though.
No, that's what I had to say. It's a quote, so I had to say how he said it.
Oh, okay.
My runner-up was, hang on, Perry, we're seconds from impact.
Right, let's move on.
A couple of the dirty lines in this show.
Right, we are going to be reviewing Timelash. I think Debbie's not on this evening, is she?
You mean Scramble the Letters, lame... oh, no, never mind.
You're being rude, Kirby.
Yes.
What? I stopped before I was rude.
Ooh.
Right, I'm going to just refresh the thingy so I can see if anybody's posting anything. Oh, there it is. Oh, we've got some viewers. And I'm going to click on this. It's probably going to hear my voice coming out. That's me. It says me laughing. I think I'll have to stop doing that. Right then. Terry Miles says, hello, Adam, just to get ahead of Lillian Robbins saying hi, or might be the other way round. Oh, now my video's stopped. Oh, dear, it's not live now, is it? Oh, no, that's live now. And somebody called Ian Bissett. Oh, I'm back on. The voices on there again. What's going on? This is weird. Oh, God. Live podcasting, why would you do it? So let's get on then. I've got people joining. I've got Ian Bissett and Chris Mockridge and Mary Blitzlang. Mary, what the hell are you doing?
What, right now?
We're watching you.
There was no need to. Right.
We have to make sure of what you're doing over there.
You're on the podcast. What you need?
Yes, but it's a delay. You're seeing me from about 5 seconds ago.
I'm on this podcast. Can you get out of my life for a while?
It's just entertaining seeing what you were doing about.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Doctor and his funny little crystal gadget. Yeah. Maybe I should have a funny little crystal gadget in front of me while doing this particular segment. All right, so Timelash begins with the title sequence and...
Really?
And surprise, surprise, Perry moaning about being bored.
Yeah, but she's moaning, but now she's not dressed as... She's a little more conservatively dressed than she has been.
I seem to remember writing a letter of complaint to the BBC for that particular reason. But Robert Haynes says, hello, thanks for that, Robert. You're contaminating my live feed. Right, anyway, so they have a bit of a bicker.
Just saying hi, so I said hello too.
Thank you. Anyway, these scenes seem to be a little bit padding. My live video's interrupted. It shouldn't be. I've got
they
a
are
fast
padding.
internet.
It's padding.
Yeah, it is padding. But no,
the episode was underrunning.
I'm supposed to have an extremely fast video, internet connection. So why it should pause the video, I really don't know. Oh well, might have to refresh it. I'm getting distracted here. Right.
You always are.
Pardon?
What?
Yeah,
you always are distracted.
Oh, because I'm busy.
I agree.
Oh, thank you. And then we cut to this planet, which is a very sort of the sort of shot of the surface. I'd actually forgotten about that, but it seems to be the only reference shot of the surface of what looks like a very derelict-looking planet.
But it looks like a very model.
How could that other planet be relying on them for their wheat or whatever, the grain that they're...
It doesn't look... a science fiction fantasy TV program.
Or maybe they've got...
anything grows here.
Extensive hydroponic base.
That's what I was going to say, Ian. Yes, underneath somewhere they must have extensive hydroponics.
Yes.
And microcephalic apostates as well somewhere.
Yes. Hey, it worked on Voyager, right?
What, the microcephalic apostates or the hydroponics? Hypertronic
stuff and thing.
And then we meet a few of the younger cast members, some of which won't last very long. One of the young lad with the blonde hair, he's quite a seasoned television actor now. He's been in lots of stuff.
He was useless on this.
Yeah, he plays mainly baddies at the moment. He was quite, but give him a chance, Robert. It was probably one of his first jobs.
The first season of Luther, wasn't he? He was his mate / bad guy.
Was he? I haven't seen Luther.
You were talking about, was it? What was his name now?
I don't know.
Fred.
We'll come back to that anyway.
I decided not to Google it. So
thank you for that, Kirby. Anyway,
as I was watching this the other day with Fred, she was going, "What are they? Beekeepers?"
Yeah, they look like it.
So anyway,
outfits.
Meanwhile, back in the TARDIS, the Doctor shows Perry his new disco lighting graphic, which
state of the art.
Is supposed to be.
No expense.
He says is like a time corridor thingy, but it didn't look much like the time corridor thingy that they had travelled down not so long ago in Resurrection of the Daleks. Anyway, Luther's mate gets carried away by some beekeepers. Meanwhile, his hot friend legs it through the corridors and meets a very unusual. I suppose he's an android, isn't he? Oh, he's an android, isn't he? Who talks a bit like that? Every syllable.
Are awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh yeah, no, but the way he talks is a bit like Kirby on a bad day.
But it's just, I thought they're just really well realised and really quite kind of robotic looking.
And original.
Just a guy in a suit.
Very, very original. Anyway,
the actor is going to show up in Doctor Who one more time inside the bus conductor in
Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Anybody else want to say Greatest Show in the Galaxy just to make it a sort of family affair?
The Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Thank you.
Anyway, although we won't hear him, there's different voice actors.
Yeah, thank you for that. Anyway, meanwhile, the hot bird gets gets shot in the belly, and Luther's. Oh yeah, she then gets taken in to see the Borad.
The board.
Who for some reason in the most of the story decides to have his back to everybody.
Wasn't that a rude film a few years ago? Borat.
Yeah, Borat.
Yeah, Borat.
Yeah.
Borat.
Anyway, so Hot Bird gets zapped by a funny gadget which
we don't
ages
get to see
them
her
to
turn
death.
into a skeleton though.
Ages them to death, Kirby. A bit like the machine that was created by Professor Thingamajig in A City of Death.
City of Death. I knew you were going to say that.
Just saying.
By the way, it was only his third part on TV playing Gazak. It was
the chap who was in Luther.
Yeah.
I thought he may well have been his first, so he's done well.
Stephen McIntosh. He probably only started that week. Probably his third job that week. You know.
Yeah.
We'll have you stand there, and then we're going to throw you in the time lash. All right.
I will pre-warn you that I'm not up on the characters' names in this, so I'll just have to say things like
that guy.
Bird with 80s hairdo and mysterious-looking sort of red outfit that fits the Victorian age. Is that quite a long, probably too long name, that one?
Bloke in beekeeper outfit, because we're just going to get confused.
And other one is bloke who's got his hair slicked back like Data from Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yeah, there you go.
Who seems to be almost like the love interest. A very pale looking bloke. He looks like he should be taking some.
I don't know what she's going on with him. He's got looks a little pale and pasty.
Yeah, maybe should be taking some multivitamin tablets or something. I don't know.
Well, who knows? Maybe that's tanned for, Carful.
Yeah, I would say that this room, which is the room where they do the punishments of i.e. the time lash, and they do reference the High Council of the Time Lords. It does sort of remind me a little bit of that. Obviously, a few less chairs.
Yeah.
But anyway,
kind of a pants time lash.
Yeah. I suppose if they wanted the toilet, it'd be called a time slash.
Oh goodness.
That'd be quite a funny little prank to play, though, wouldn't it? If you were a real prankster in this society, that when there's nobody in there, just go up to the edge of the time lash machine and urinate into it and see where the wee would end up. It'd be quite funny. We're standing somewhere.
All over this universe.
Yeah. Could have landed on the scripts for the actual story itself at some point. That would have been quite amusing. Right, so all the audience gather for this punishment of the time lash. And as who mentioned the beekeeper reference?
I did.
Pardon?
I did.
You know, if I had my bell with me, Kirby, you'd get a ding for that. But sadly, the bell's disappeared again. It's actually in my jacket pocket for work, but I can't access it at the moment. But
work? What do you use your bell for at work?
Because so I can ding for assistance. So.
Okay.
But then I found my original dingy dong bell. You know, those sort of the old-fashioned type bell with a handle that you waggle and it makes a ding-a-ling-a-ling noise.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Yeah, that sort of bell. It's a much smaller version.
Is the kettle on yet?
All that was me just saying Kirby gets a ding. Lillian Robbins says, my phone decided to reboot. You obviously haven't got an iPhone, Lillian. It's probably one of those Android.
She didn't miss anything then.
But she does have nice legs.
Well, if she has got an Android, it's quite apt for this particular story. I wonder if it talks a bit like that.
Is it blue?
Do you know, there's a line by the Android says, yes, indeed she was, which is the same, you know, the music in Close Encounters of Their Kind.
Sort of. I've listened to it several times. It's close, but not quite.
Probably accidentally, though, to be fair.
It was a approximate encounter.
I will say at this stage that when I start calling people mail-in, it is going to be a little bit confusing because we had about 15 mail-ins for us.
Mail-in Rennis and mail-in Tecker.
Yeah. No, it was 3 of them. 3
yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said 15. I was exaggerating, Robert. I love the shot.
Mail-in.
Oh, for God's sake.
You knew this was happening. You knew it was going to happen.
I didn't, actually, but I do like it, actually. Thank you very much.
Yeah. At least you're not the poor rad.
Come on. Oh, I thought you interrupted me, Kirby. I thought you were just saying mail in for the fun of it.
Right.
You're just saying
it. Did you notice that we have Shades of Shada?
Shades of Shada. Try and say that when you've had a few pints.
Dennis Carey.
Yes, Dennis Carey is finally on screen. Actually, he's actually in 3 stories, isn't he?
And the Keep of Draken.
Yeah.
Anyway, James Ferguson's joined and Lillian Robbins said, yes, it's an Android. There we go. Lillian's having to reboot her Android phone. I never have to reboot my Apple phone. It's just an Apple phone here. Oh, shit, I have to reboot
it now.
No, I'm not. Anyway, there's a shot of the CCTV camera in the thing, which I thought was quite amusing, because it did look really old and crap. We thought they would have thought that maybe CCTV cameras might have been updated a bit on foreign planets.
Yeah.
My security cameras look nothing like that.
No. The ones on Murder on CCTV look a bit like that, but I do love that series. Now, episode 3 is on tonight. Well, I recorded it a couple of days ago. Sorry, my drifting.
Laborad has problems with seeing himself, so...
But the kettle on.
Yeah,
that's true.
So not only has he got rid of all the mirrors, he's like, we're downgrading the CCTV. If I see myself on the screen, they'll get.
Yeah. See, everything has an explanation. Anyway, back to the punishment. So this nipper is and this other slip-back-haired nipper are sort of forced towards the time lash and thrown in. But yeah, I quite like that. The sort of, even though it's very cheap, it actually is quite effective special effect, the way they sort of fade into it as they're falling.
One of my quotes was going to be, they usually go screaming. So.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's good, actually. And then we see the Keeper of Traken coming up on the screen and slightly different hairdo.
Evil!
Oh, it's Professor Crotonus. Is it Crotonus?
Yeah,
Cronotis.
Cronotis, yeah.
It looks a little bit more like him. Crinoid? And he comes up on the screen and makes a bit of a Boris Johnson announcement. While back on the TARDIS, for some reason the Doctor is sort of halfway through a door and he's got some very old-fashioned looking wires hanging out of a roundel, because the TARDIS is run by lots of old-fashioned looking wires.
Copper wires. Yeah.
And some really, really old circuit boards.
Yeah. Maybe that's probably why he's having a problem with it, if it's got all this old technology in it.
You got to upgrade one of these days. It ought to upgrade itself.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Why don't they write that into the history of Doctor Who? Lee Anthony Davis says, "Hello, Adam. Hello, Lee." Anyway, moving forward.
Just hello, Adam. What about the rest of us?
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything about you lot. It just says, "Hello, Adam." So
we're all feeling a bit slighted here.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
You have to name each one of us, Lee Anthony Davis.
See what you're doing? You're killing us.
Speak, because I can't. Oh dear.
The cough that carried him off is the cough.
Yeah, sorry. At this point, when I'm choking to death, you're supposed to take over. So as
We were. You were making fun of it.
Oh,
Yes.
good grief! Now, I'll tell you what happened there. Right, I've got a strange.
We were picking on Mr. Davis while you were.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a funny
we're
red colour.
Continuing the gag.
Yeah. Now, what happens if I blow a raspberry? I sometimes have coughing fits. I forgot at that moment not to blow raspberries.
He said, hello, rest of you.
Stop! It's my job to read out the feed. Thank you, Robert.
We even got named from Lily, too.
Lily went all out. You know.
All right, thank you, Robert. That's my job.
Said hell.
Robert.
Hell.
That's your escape, is just to say hello.
Or hell.
Right, I'll let you off that one occasion, but you're not to do that again, Robert, you naughty boy.
What did I
Anyway,
do?
so moving forward a little bit.
Apparently we're not allowed to talk in the magic room.
No, you're not allowed to read out the feed. That's my job. Yeah, Kirby's job is to read out the feedback from the Facebook page. My one is to read out the feed stuff, and it's somebody, whoever I decide, reads out the actual email feedback. Sorry, were you saying something, Robert?
Yeah, read what the feed says now. There's lots.
Read what are these? It's probably you saying something silly. Let's have a look, shall we? Robert Haynes, hi there. Alan T. Butcher, hello everyone but Adam. Thank you for that, Alan. Laurie Nick says, I finally managed to log in late to see Adam choking to death. Egads. And then Alan T. Butcher says, and hello Adam. Thank you, Alan. I'm sweating now. Hang on, where's my fan? I just put my fan on because I'm starting to... oh, that's better. Oh, right. Back to Doctor Who. I'll hold it up here for a bit. Yeah, so there's a bit of plotting going on between the next person to get zapped by the Borad and slip-back hair bloke, which I think they don't realise at this point, but the Borad can actually hear and see virtually everything in the script requires. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. The script requires.
Everything in the Borad has the script, essentially.
Meanwhile, back in the TARDIS, the Doctor turns off the inertial dampeners so they can strap themselves to the console via these...
Why have we never seen these seatbelts since...
You know the answer to that, Kirby.
It wasn't required in the script. I'm just going to put the fan down my top. Anyway, so cut a long story short... Oh, no, we're back to... Oh, yeah, this is where...
You should know what's in that trunk, though.
What's in the trunk? What trunk? Is there an elephant in the picture? I didn't see an elephant.
They get the things out of, the belts out of.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember any elephants. So, to cut a long story short...
Are you having fun with that fan, Adam?
I've turned it off now.
Yeah, Perry doesn't know about... Perry makes reference to a story she wasn't in, and yet later on, I believe it's next week, she doesn't know what a Dalek is.
No.
Yep. Is that a bit of continuity?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Doctor Who. Wow.
Maybe she took some retcon.
For Kirby.
Maybe there's a big finished story between Timelash and Revelation of the Daleks where she's had to be retconned.
But at least someone told her who
Joe Grant is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's even seen pictures.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's acceptable. Meanwhile, back to the story. So where we got up to? So Malin, the first Malin, the one that's he's plotting with Slipback Hairman. In the end, he gets done in basically by the Borad's aging ray. And
I like the way that the skull goes clunk on the
floor. They were really pleased with that. Back in the TARDIS, the camera's gone wibbly wobbly. not wibbly wobbly timey wimey, but it is wibbly wobbly. Debbie Melrose says hello. Does that mean Debbie Melrose
is a high voice?
Does that mean we need to get the shepherd's hook on Debbie Melrose and hook her into the show? That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think so.
I think she's just observing.
Yeah.
Matthew Kressel has joined. Matthew Kressel has joined, just to see how it's done, eh, Matthew? Right, anyway, so the TARDIS goes wibbly wobbly, and they for some reason never seen before, they sort of writhe around on these cable thingies, and the next Timelash punishment is staged, like Slip Back Hair Man, and red sort of tunic woman grabs the is it an amulet that's around a new mailing, as in Avon's neck. Sorry, I'm getting things confused on that. Avon was in Blake 7. It's the chap who played Avon.
Tekka.
Yeah. I'll never remember these names.
Richard III, don't you?
Richard III? What about Richard III?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's channeling Richard III.
Oh, he is
wanted
he?
a hump, and they wouldn't give one to him.
Well, I didn't
So he took the hump.
Oh, God. Anyway, back to the episode. So while they're writhing around on these, because obviously a red dress woman has fallen into the Timelash carrying this amulet thingy, she floats through the TARDIS console room. And Perry goes, "Oh, did you see that?"
As one would.
What?
As one would.
Yeah. Why not?
But as she floats through, there's
TARDIS or just the console room?
Oh yes, good point. Or we'll say console room, because that's what we can only vouch for the. If we went to a court of law and they said where did she float through, the only room we saw her float through was the console room. So we'll have to stick with that particular.
We could do a whole Big Finish.
What? Following her through the TARDIS.
Yeah, her going through the TARDIS, and then she jerked into the pool room.
Yeah, there's a story.
She did this for 100 years.
Is Matthew still listening? Matthew, are you still listening? You've got Ian has provided you with an idea for a Big Finish story there.
The journeys of Mina to the TARDIS.
They don't need any ideas.
Anyway, so meanwhile, the new mail-in, Tekka, is relishing his new role. And he's sort of showing off a little bit.
What first came to mind when I heard that was Tekka.
And the TARDIS appears, and a dog has arrived in the room, and finally.
Because I don't remember that cut.
What, the TARDIS arriving?
No, the dog.
No, the dog's arrived in here. No, it's a bit confusing.
In the TARDIS.
These things happen on this show.
The dog has arrived.
Special edition of Timelash.
We have to be quite thankful.
And the dog arrives. Yes.
We have to be quite thankful that the TARDIS arrived, because that means there's no more padding scenes to be watched for a little while, not at least until episode 2.
The end of the episode.
So there's a really long padding scene in episode 2.
Yeah, mostly in episode 2.
Well, they are given rather a friendly welcome when they first arrive, and Perry's shown some plum.
Before.
Sorry?
He's been there before.
Yes, I know. So they're given a fairly friendly welcome. They accept that he is the Doctor, probably because of the TARDIS. And Perry's looking at some plant.
Looks a bit different.
Perry looks at this plant that is a bit vicious, but doesn't seem to be vicious until you pick it up and throw it at someone, to be fair.
Yeah.
Those beekeeper nets are apparently no protection against anything.
Yeah. You going to say something, Kirby?
No, I said yes.
Wow.
I said yeah.
Unusually concise of you, and I welcome this.
I'll go, Malin.
Anyway, and then we meet this sort of weird looking alien that's a bit like a cobra, who apparently they're potentially going to war against.
That was pathetic. I'm sorry.
Like a sock puppet, honestly.
Well, what I find pathetic is how Perry just kind of cowers into a crevice and screams. She's got the whole cave she can run down.
No,
Mary, we haven't got up to that bit yet.
Well, that was no, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the aliens who are attacked.
I get a funny feeling from what Mary says there that she's actually quite keen to be further on in the story at this point.
Yes.
Different glove, Mary, different glove puppet. We'll get to that.
One of those, please. Moving on.
Okay, so we meet this thing, and the new Malin Tekka is quite keen to actually antagonise, shall we say, the weird-looking puppet. And so while all this has happened, the Doctor and Perry are put in this waiting room. It's like a dentist waiting room in some way. The Doctor sort of lounges and Perry looks exceptionally bored again. And Perry then is taken away by Tekka. Not by Tekka, sorry. It arranges for her to be taken away. And then she gets...
Yeah, when I first watched this, I fell asleep for about 10 minutes here and got very confused.
Well, we rewind it and pick it up from where you left off.
Yeah, yes, I did go back to figure out what the heck was going on.
So Perry legs it and ends up in this sort of like a cave system with one of the leftover puppets from Invasion of the Dinosaurs. And she does a lot of screaming. I will point out this, that Deb has watched a couple...
Malin?
What?
They actually, when filming, they scheduled her, I believe, 4 or 5 times to do the screaming because they expected her voice to kind of wear out, so they wanted her voice to recover. So in the schedule, they had this all set up, and she did it perfectly the first time, so they didn't have to do it the other times.
Splendid.
I'm so relieved.
It was in the info text.
Thank you for that.
Therefore, you must believe.
Yes. Mary?
Yes.
I do apologise on Kirby's behalf for holding the whole thing up for another 10 minutes where we could have actually got into episode 2. But so I'll just apologise on his behalf because I know you want to be a bit further on in the story. As do
my God,
we.
yes. Please.
Right, hang on. So where we got up? So Perry's now being attacked by a puppet. And then we meet... Herbert, who's doing some strange things with a Ouija board on his own, but then the glass starts moving on its own. Spooky, and then a woman appears.
We never get to find out what was moving the glass.
What you don't know is what he was actually doing with his Ouija board. I want a woman to arrive in my room right now, and then she does.
Yeah, it's like woohoo!
Apparently, the letters on it does say Vina somewhere around those letters. I haven't found it yet.
Thank you for that, Kirby.
Malin.
God. Yes.
Real H.G. Wells did not believe in this sort of stuff at all. This is completely wrong.
Okay.
He also
have not experimented with it for research.
What?
Would he have not experimented with it
just to prove himself right? Yeah. Maybe. So anyway, so this woman arrives in the room, where are we? I've lost where I was now. Oh yeah, in his lounge, and Perry is sort of rescued by some. One of which is that really sexy bird, or is that her twin sister? Remember the sexy bird that we saw looked like she was getting zapped by the Borad? I'm sure that's the same woman, isn't it?
I don't remember her.
You don't remember her?
Yeah, I don't remember what she looked like, right?
Yeah, there's only one, apart from obviously Nicola Bryant, quite attractive looking woman in the story. So Perry's sort of I call them mercenaries. They're sort of rebels, I suppose, aren't they? They're downstairs living in the cave. One of which rebels, is quite a tough looking bloke who I think used to play police officers in in police officer dramas.
I'm sure Ian's looking it up.
Is
what?
What?
What am I looking at? No, I was reading something else. Sorry.
The police, the bloke who's the tough-looking bloke with the tash, and I don't mean Kirby.
Yeah, I know the guy.
I haven't got a tash anymore. Oh God.
Seems familiar.
Don't do silly voices that make you cough. Right. Yeah, I hope I'm not going down with COVID. All these strange dry coughs are coming up.
Give up smoking, Adam.
Pardon?
Give up smoking.
I don't blimmin' smoke. Anyway, so Herbert makes gets friendly with what's her name again? Varna or something?
Vina.
Vina rhymes with Wiener.
Oh, thank you. We'll have to remember that.
And Weena is a character in
Time Machine.
Time Machine.
Oh,
and
dear.
Morlocks are
Weena.
Time Machine.
Vina.
Weena
and Weena.
So
is and Wiener's in Time Machine.
The TARDIS arrives.
Malin.
Oh God.
Becca.
Malin.
Sorry, Mary.
It would have been more of a surprise, this whole Herbert thing, if there hadn't been a movie 6 years before all about H.G. Wells coming to 1979.
Yes. Good movie, that.
I did watch a movie, not about H.G. Wells, but called The Time Machine. That was quite good. When was that? That was made a few years ago, but I can't remember who was in it.
Is that the one with Guy Pearce?
Oh, it was Guy Pearce. That's right. I enjoyed that film.
And what's his name?
No, what's her name?
You know, the guy who was the bad guy in...
yeah. It was the
second Die Hard movie. No, the
Jeremy Irons.
Die Hard movie.
Oh, was he?
That's it.
Excellent. I enjoyed that film.
I'm referring to the movie Time After Time with.
Yeah, I know. Malcolm McDowell and.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Okay. Right.
And
Mary, I apologise again for Kirby's insistence on holding us back into episode 1.
Vixen Ashworth, by the way.
And Terry Miles says tea time again.
Yeah.
Judging by me coughing all the time, I probably will need a cup of tea in a minute. So yeah, the doctor finds whatever her name is, and while Perry makes friends with the rebels.
Malin.
What?
Malin.
Yes.
The gentleman's name is Dickon Ashworth. He was also in Krull.
Was he?
Yeah. The dude with the mustache.
I remember that.
Well, he did play police officers, though, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he had that. Yeah, he was
crooked policeman.
He was also the Curse of the Were-Rabbit as well.
Was he? Oh, there you go.
Really?
Yeah.
So to cut a long story short, Herbert just, says, "Can I come with you, Doctor?" The Doctor says no, but he does anyway. Basically, so he sneaks into the TARDIS and immediately.
He's a good companion.
He is. And then we get some wibbly wobbly stuff where he gets an opportunity.
I realized, Malin.
Oh, jeez.
I realized that when the doctor told him he couldn't come along, that he goes out the back door and he actually goes into the TARDIS ahead of them.
Does he now?
He must have.
Yes, I think he did. Okay, well, he's in there anyway, and there's a bit of wibbly wobbliness going. He gets the opportunity to hold Viva, whatever her name is, by the hands, and they materialise back in the Timelash area with another greeting from the.
I believe it's the council room.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Gets a greeting from Tekka and. And then the Doctor is sentenced to the Timelash. Yes, and just so we can have a cliffhanger.
The end of episode 1.
At the end, yeah, we're at the end of episode 1.
Oh my God!
Should have played the Hallelujah chorus.
The android and the Doctor, it really looks like the android's got the Doctor very painful.
Yeah, Kirby. And this is the first time we've mentioned this in the history of the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast. They're acting. This is what they do. They pretend that they might be in pain or be, grabbed in a very uncomfortable way, and then they pretend to throw them out. And they use these things called special effects. I'm sorry to disappoint
you actually just get hurt.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because at a production of Dracula, I had to be thrown backwards by Dracula's powers. That was no special effect. That was me putting myself up on my tippy toes and throwing myself onto the floor. Just for the ticket holders, Yeah. Just to give them a good show.
Anyway, the Doctor gets out of it by using Perry's old trip, when he was regenerating by showing the mirror, which frightens the android. Doesn't like seeing himself.
Weird.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be any good on social media, would he? So there's a bit of a scuffle.
Figured that out.
A bit of a scuffle ensues, and then Robert sends me something about Dean Hollingsworth, who's a friend of Robert's on Facebook, apparently.
Well, apparently we can all make him our friend.
Can we?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that nice? And a little scuffle ensues, and a robot and somebody else goes down the Timelash, and the Doctor gets saved by slicked back hair bloke whose hair is not quite as slicked back as it was.
Why don't we just call him Human Data?
No, because he doesn't look like Data anymore. He looks more like a sort of 1980s boy band or 1990s boy band member now. Anyway, so moving forward a little bit. The Doctor, because the amulet, isn't it? The amulet's gone down the Timelash, and they need that. So they contrive this plan using a length of rope to lower the Doctor down these very strange sort of crystalline thingies. Pardon?
Contron crystals.
Yes, because they want, at the end of these crystalline things, are specific crystals the Doctor needs for one of his cunning plans.
And they decorated it for Christmas.
Is it those polystyrene crystalline things?
Yes. Well, they look polystyrene, but this is a foreign planet, Ian, so that even though it looks like polystyrene...
It's polystyrene crystals. They're very rare on this planet.
I love the fact you live in America and call it polystyrene. That deserves a round of applause. So we go.
Thank you. There you go. You're welcome.
Why? What else would they be called?
Because we all know it's styrofoam.
No, we know it's polystyrene. Yeah.
Styrofoam.
Lillian Robin says, "You mean it's not real? Shocking."
see that just goes to show you that my vocabulary is time locked. Yes. When I'm talking about this story, it's locked into when I was living.
So so they. What? I nearly got it. Sorry, Mary. Sorry.
This scene, as I had the info text on, they're making all sorts of references to my wires again.
Are they? Oh, okay, whatever. Thank you for that.
No, they're being held up by Kirby wires.
Yeah, okay, I gathered that. And Mary's absolutely thrilled to be informed of that particular piece of information. But they do drag this scene out quite a lot for obvious reasons. Eventually, Herbert very bravely goes down and helps the Doctor up. And then we see the Keeper of Traken, who evidently... You have to
wonder that they can barely hold the Doctor up. And then we have not just one, but two more people go down the road.
That's right, but the Herbert's a bit lighter than the Doctor, to be fair. I don't want to be mean to Colin Baker, but the point of the Sixth Doctor was he was a bit chunky. They had to have a chunky Doctor for people like me to be able to cosplay him.
Exactly.
Me too. What do you mean? You weren't supposed to agree with that.
No, well, because I've got the whole costume, including the wig.
Have you? Oh, you sod. I'd like to have that costume. I nearly went to buy it once, but it was £300. So I decided not to.
It must be fun to wear that.
It was a really good version of the costume, and I got a funny feeling that She Who Must Be Obeyed would probably have said no. Yeah, so I've just got to wait until we win the lottery or something. Back to the story.
Malin.
Oh, geez, nearly back to the story.
With them always calling Herbert, you're a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
What's the Herbert connection with Star Trek, the original series?
I can't remember. Somebody, one of the producers, wasn't it?
To Eden, the hippie episode. They were always the hippies were always insulting everyone by going Herbert.
Oh, was it? Okay, I'd forgotten that, and I wish I'd still had it in the realms of having been forgotten. So yeah, they use the Keeper of Traken as a puppet of the Borad. So because obviously, as we find out later, the Borad is apparently quite ugly and would be too scary for the people of whatever this place is called to obey in some ways.
How many times has Doctor Who done that fairly recently? We've had Sheriff's Jack. We've had that guy in, what's his name, Vengeance of Arrows.
Not quite in the same way, because this is different, because the Borad is apparently hideously ugly, so used as a
like
puppet.
half the face kind of thing.
Oh, so you mean the mask situation? Although the Borad didn't actually have a mask, did he? Just
but he's still got half the face.
Phantom of the Opera must have been very popular at this time.
I think
maybe so. So anyway,
I like the half face of the Borad.
Okay, we haven't got to that bit yet, actually, Kirby. Thank you very much. We'd like to have got to that bit, but certain aspects of the stuff that's been going on. Oh, hang on, Laurie Nick says Kirby went to Herbert. It was only a matter of time and completely different sci-fi series. So, by the way,
I was a Star Trek fan before I was a Doctor Who fan.
Right. I want somebody, Ian Kirk might be a good one, to look through the history of the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast and see how many times Kirby has said about being a Star Trek fan. Yeah. Actually, talking about being a Star Trek fan, I've got an extra new Funko Pop today. Yesterday, where's that gone? I've lost it. I had a Saru Funko Pop. See it somewhere.
What?
Saru is a character from Star Trek Discovery.
I know Discovery. I do watch.
So anyway, Perry is.
I have not seen a single episode of Discovery. Sorry.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, you're a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
hearing contradictions here.
Perry is chained by the neck to some gadget, and then the Doctor and slick-haired bloke get rescued. Perry has a conversation with a beekeeper, and then Malin Tekka smarms a very innocent chap into thinking he's now going to be second in command just prior to him getting zapped by the Borad.
Yeah, that was cruel, wasn't it?
It was. Perry gets dragged by the neck because the Borad has his plan that he's going to
what a stupid
use her
plan.
as a mate by having creating
How
the same.
Dumb.
Hang on.
Does she not look good?
I haven't said what's going to happen yet. He's going to recreate the accident that caused his injuries. There we go. Sorry, Robert.
And I mean, doesn't she look better as she is now compared to how she would look as a Borad?
Well, biologically, it doesn't really matter, does it?
There's no logic to his.
Well, you're taking a human view, you know.
Yeah, he wants.
He was a human. He's just half Morlocks now.
But he's more.
He wants her to be like him.
Yeah, but he's more happy with the way he looks now. But we haven't got to that bit yet. Laurie Nick says, as was I, Kirby. I only tease with love. I won't quite go that far, Laurie, to be fair.
Thank you, Laurie.
I thought she only did it with whips and chains.
Where
my mind goes.
Oh, we've just scraped a new low.
Well said, well said.
Right. So the Doctor is creating this gadget that allows him to look like he's, sat down in the same place while he's walking around pushing people and stuff.
We have to, with Malin, we have to make as many references to H.G. Wells' novels as possible.
No, we don't.
Yes,
So he creates this gadget, and hang on. So Perry's.
Who made you the rule keeper?
The author of this did it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So yeah, like I say, they've goaded the weird-looking cobra creatures into attacking them. I can't remember what the reason was for that, but never mind, they've done it anyway. And a missile is launched
because the Borad wants everyone dead, so that he can have.
Oh, he can start a new Borad species. But Malin Tekka hears this and doesn't like it very much, and of course, because he doesn't like it very much, gets zapped. And then we see the Borad's real face, which apparently is supposed to be scary. That's why they've been hiding it for all this time. But bearing in mind we've seen Sharaz Jek's face, which was mildly scary, and that other chap from the Avenger of Varus, which was even less scary. This is actually quite interesting. I found it quite fascinating to look at this particular
I think it's
prosthetic.
supposed to be repulsive. I don't know about scary.
I thought it was really well realized.
It was very, very good.
And he couldn't move around, so
No.
he was in a...
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, what I got with it, I thought the costume and the makeup was fab, and his acting, especially his vocal acting, was absolutely superb.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be really pleased with his new self because he's really, really powerful and strong.
I think the intellect that he's the thing that he's pleased with.
Yeah, and the longevity, he can live so much longer.
But he says that he's really, really strong, but he just sits in that chair. Now, where's the evidence?
Yeah, but that's not the real him, though.
He gets up later.
Oh, okay.
He gets up later.
Malin.
Yes.
The blue screen to the back of that room is his water tank, where he lives most of the time.
I never knew that. Did you know that, Mary?
I didn't know that.
But that doesn't explain why he can't get up.
No, it doesn't.
But he does get up later.
He does get up later. That's very true. But he doesn't come across to me as being exceptionally strong. So there were a bit of all the secrets come out for a few minutes.
You didn't see him down at the gym later.
Yeah, and then we have, of course, like Tekka gets zapped, like I said, and the Doctor uses his gadget to sort of press a few buttons, and then.
And you know what? Something that wasn't clear when I'm watching it, because that's supposed to reference the Invisible Man, that kind of thing. But I don't think it came out very clear.
Oh.
And also
I like it because it's supposed to inspire Herbert, and all Herbert sees is him disappear and then interact with people. So for him, the Doctor disappeared, and so that it then inspires the story. Like the Morlocks is the inspiration for the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I never picked up on that, and I didn't even know that that H.G. Wells wrote The Invisible Man. So aren't I a Philistine?
Huh?
Malin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there is a mistake though between the demonstration of the Invisible Man section and when the Doctor does it in front of the Borad.
Does what in front of the Borad?
He disappears for a few seconds during the demonstration, but he never actually disappears.
Okay.
He moves around in the 10-second delay.
Well, that was him testing it. Does it really matter? It's a science fiction fantasy TV show.
They got it pretty damn close.
Laurie Nick says lols. I thought obviously referring to something I said.
No, it was something I said about the
and then
chains.
Nick Pointing joined.
Something I said.
No, it wasn't. So anyway, the Borad gets zapped. I forgot to mention this, that Herbert was up in the rafters watching this. What? Herbert's up in the rafters watching it while Perry is being attacked by a puppet. But she gets rescued by Herbert and...
Herbert.
She doesn't exactly. Well, her thing comes off, but once again,
her thing comes off.
Comes off. I didn't see this one.
Yeah.
I wish I had seen that one.
She was in before and screams. She doesn't really.
I know.
Is that the one with the dog in it?
So now there's a missile heading towards them. The Doctor tries to tell them the snaky creature, come on, let's call it off. And the snaky creature says something, oh, hello, Doctor, but you must prove you're the Doctor, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So the Doctor goes into the TARDIS with a slightly different hairdo, with Perry to have a bit of a filler row for a bit, which are really sort of... And then, of course, Herbert's managed to sneak in as well.
They filmed it like 6 weeks later.
Herbert sneaks in after Perry's sent back out again. And they have a little bit of a ride in the TARDIS for a little bit. Just as well it was Herbert and the Doctor having the ride in the TARDIS, otherwise that would have had all sorts of connotations. And then apparently the Doctor's used the TARDIS to blow up the missile by basically the missile hits the TARDIS, allegedly destroying the indestructible TARDIS. With a pathetic-looking explosion, to be fair.
And you know what's silly is later on they asked him how he got out of there. He says, "I'll tell you later."
I'll explain later.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I love it. It's like
that was the old Peter Davison explanation, wasn't it?
That. I'll explain later.
Just picked it apart anyway.
Yeah.
Well, strictly speaking, a TARDIS can't do that. Sorry.
So anyway, as the Doctor reappears. Because obviously Perry's a bit upset because she thinks the Doctor's dead again. But she didn't go, Doctor! Like she did in The Twin Dilemma.
She only does that when wearing a leotard and shorts.
Oh, okay. And then the Borad turns up.
Leotard and shorts, I'd cry like that.
Yeah, the Borad turns up and grabs Perry by the throat.
Same here.
And
if you want better acting, dress me better.
So yeah, Laborad grabs Perry by the throat. The Doctor turns up, and they have a bit of a sort of
See, he's pretty strong there because he's holding Perry. Okay, do you admit that?
Yeah. And then
he's a handful after all.
Of course, we forgot to mention the mural on the wall of the Third Doctor, which is quite pretty. What
was that doing there, and how did the Doctor know it was there?
It was just typical JNT. Let's incorporate the history of Doctor Who within my era of Doctor Who. And
No, it's a science fiction fantasy TV program.
What's the mirror doing behind the painting?
Maybe the Doctor put the mirror behind the painting.
There's a reference somewhere as far as why the mirror.
I bet you it's explained better in the novel.
The thing was covered over because they didn't want to get inspired by the Doctor.
I'm saying
the assumption was that there used to be mirrors everywhere. And they covered them all up.
Yes, very good, Ian.
And so the Doctor's like, I know there's mirrors behind this crap.
Yeah, well done, Ian. That's the best explanation you could possibly think of. Yes, it's because the Lord Borad wanted the mirrors covered up. Brilliantly done.
And apparently that's painting of the Third Doctor was done by a fan, and J&T commissioned it from her.
I would have used a paintbrush.
They should have used Alistair's painting, of course. That would have been perfect.
Why didn't they? Ask him.
No, I'm not going to ask him. Anyway, so basically this long sequence ends in... The only sort of scene that I found a little bit... What? Sort of thing. Is when the sort of Borad sees all his reflections, he decides the best place to go is to crawl up a awkward-looking ramp and stand on the edge of the Timelash thingy so the Doctor can elbow him down.
I just perch on the edge here.
Yeah, but he's got all the other parts of the room to go. But he decides the best base is up this awkward-looking ramp. And of course,
he had a plan for the Doctor to run at him, and he ducked.
Oh, did he? Okay,
mismanaged it and just poof.
That's a fair enough explanation. I hadn't thought of that. Anyway, so they say that's
best laid plans.
We all make mistakes, right? I mean,
Herbert decides to stay behind, but of course he can't. And of course the Doctor just happens to have what?
I like when the Doctor explodes the time lash. Obviously, someone behind the time lash throws a whole bunch of debris.
Oh, sorry, I'm back in the room.
Yes. But of course, Herbert can't stay because the Doctor has his calling card which says Herbert George Wells. And of course,
Herbert.
There's no other details on it. No, on the card.
No, just his name. Yeah, doesn't say what his job is or anything like that.
Not even a website.
No.
Back in the
Not
time
an Instagram site, nothing.
Yeah.
No, back in the time that he came from, people had calling cards that only had their name on it.
Did they?
Because there were no such things as telephones, and people did not put their addresses on. So they did have calling cards.
I'll tell you what, Mary, that disappoints me because that means we can't take the mickey out of it.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but unfortunately that's accurate.
Okay.
How do you know that, Mary?
I know that, too.
You're not that old, are you?
Let me introduce you to my friend, the Doctor.
Right. So this is what I think of Timelash. I quite like Timelash, to be fair. I can see why people really sort of lay into it, because there are some things in it, quite a lot of things in it that a little bit don't really make much sense, and it's got some really bad puppetry, and which rather contradicts the amazing makeup of the Borat itself. I quite like the story. I think the padding's okay. It's quite nice to see sort of one-on-one scenes with Perry and the Doctor. I think their banter is actually quite entertaining to a certain degree. It's certainly more entertaining than Perry's screaming, which I know Deb said that that's why she hated this era of Doctor Who, because of her. When she screamed, it really went sort of through your
I don't know.
Well, wait for Bonnie like
next companion.
You're all talking over each other. That doesn't work on an audio presentation. But,
all I want to say is Bonnie Langford. Okay.
I know, that was even worse, wasn't it? But yeah, all the dogs in the neighbourhood, a Bonnie screen would be sort of ears would be pricked up and they'd be running somewhere. But yeah, so no, I quite like it. I could say I felt quite nostalgic when it first went out, obviously with the references to the Third Doctor and Joe Grant and seeing who plays Malin Tecker. Should know this. Darrow, isn't it? Paul Darrow. It's nice to see him back in Doctor Who, and there's some good actors in it, and also seeing the younger actors that are having their first acting roles that we see in current productions now. That sort of thing is quite fascinating. I like the timey-wimey element. Obviously, they go back and meet. It's a bit cheesy, but they meet H.G. Wells. I enjoyed the character that they created for H.G. Wells himself, i.e. Herbert. He would have made a good companion. I think it would have worked in some ways if he had stayed on as a companion and then gone back to write his stories to a certain extent. But again, for me, it's nowhere near as bad as people make it out to be. As a piece of entertainment, I find it quite entertaining. And I dread to think what you lot think, so I'm going to start with...
Malin.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I've not seen it before.
Well, that's why I'm saving you two a little bit later. What do you think of it, Ian?
What do I think of it? Well, do you want to end on a high note or a low note?
I don't really mind. I'm easy. Go on then. What do you think of
it? Okay, this is how much I love it.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be having our monthly meetup for the Colton Collective today.
Yes.
And Dave said, "Are you going to be doing this show?" And I said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Can we push it out till next week? Because they're doing the Dalek story next week, and I'd rather be here for Timelash."
Okay.
Because I know it gets such a really bad, but I love it. Yeah. I think the guy playing what is his name, Dean Hollingsworth, playing the android. That performance in itself is great because that guy is just bang on in that android role, and I think it's the idea of putting the yellowish kind of hair and the blue face.
Yeah,
it was just really kind of for the minimal effort that was put into that costume. It really kind of worked, and there's just a lot of things I happen to really like H.G. Wells, and so him being in Doctor Who was one of those. It wasn't just a passing reference anymore. Here was H.G. Wells and the Doctor on an adventure, and H.G. Wells is getting ideas for stories, and it's a bit of a wet performance as far as H.G. Wells goes. I'd like him to be a little more, and he does, but by the end he gets a little tougher. But there's just lots of little wonderful stuff, and Paul Darrow's just making the most of every opportunity to be on screen.
Yeah.
And I mean, the things that are wrong with it are, I understand there was some influences from others on the script, because they originally liked the script and they liked Glenn McCoy, but others did not see the same thing and had to add other material into it. Every design that they sent up for approval for budget, they got told to lose stuff. So that's why you've got such a lousy Timelash. Essentially, the Timelash is what lets it down. Because everything else is, because if you put the Borat and the Timelash side by side, you're like, these are obviously from two different stories, but they're not. Unfortunately, they're in the same story, which makes it just, it's really kind of made for people to pick apart, unfortunately. And but I hope that by being here for this one, people will go back and watch it and go, yeah, I get you. So I love it.
Thank you. That's basically 2-0. So I dread to think what the final was going to be. 2-0 to Timelash. Lillian Robbins says, I've liked this ever since I first saw it. Robert Vance Jr. says, hi, everybody. Hi, Robert. And then he says, we say the companion thing with the Delta and the Bannerman. Is that what I said? We say the companion thing with Delta and the Bannerman.
What companion thing?
You remember the girl who played Delta? No, was it the girl, the motorcycle girl? It's like she could have been a companion.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
Okay.
I
like Delta and the Bannerman.
Yeah, we said about 50 times.
Yeah.
Right then. Okay, Kirby, go on then. What did you think? First viewing of Timelash. I'm glad you've watched it, in the course of watching every single Doctor Who story up to now.
I mean, he was a Star Trek fan.
I love the way he got interrupted as too.
Really? Really? He's really kept that to himself.
Go on then.
I liked it.
Ooh.
It had a cheesy charm
yes.
to it. And, yeah, the Timelash was crap. But other than that, I didn't really have any real problems with it.
Apart from falling asleep.
I was just tired.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when I went back and I've now watched it 3 times and enjoyed it all 3 times, except falling asleep for 10 minutes the first time through. I thought that the Borat's makeup was really cool.
Yeah.
Timelash was not. Uh-oh. Get the phone.
I think that might have been Mary's phone.
Yeah, as usual, it's always when I'm on this podcast that everybody decides they want to talk to me.
Well, in fact, she gets fan phone calls when she's on the show.
Ignore me any other time, but
I've always been an H.G. Wells fan, and like I said before, I really like time after time.
Yeah, were you an H.G. Wells fan before you were a Star Trek fan?
Probably about the same time. When I was in junior high, I went to the card catalog in the school library, if anyone knows what that is, and went to science fiction, just the subject science fiction, and just started through in the A's and read everything that they had.
Oh, including Asimov, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Robert Vance Jr.
I'm not that impressed by Asimov as a science fiction writer.
Kirby. Robert Vance Jr. says.
Phelan?
Kirby Vance Jr. says, Kirby, not you too.
Kirby Vance Jr.
Kirby Vance Jr.
Sorry, Robert Vance Jr. That was Kirby's interruptions of me trying to interrupt Kirby. It was almost like a strange flip around of events there. Yeah, we carry on, Kirby, please. Please carry on. Please carry on.
I really, it's not the greatest Doctor Who, but people say it's one of the worst. No, it is not.
It's better than Twin Dilemma, and I like Twin Dilemma.
Yeah,
what can I say?
And anything's better than Orphan 55.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I might have to reserve seeing that a second time properly before I make a final assessment on it.
Okay. Well, we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
Curse of the Black Spot?
Again, we'll see that a second time.
Curse of the Black Spot is better than Orphan 55.
So have you finished now, Kirby?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Robert, what did you think?
Bad?
What?
Bad? Bad?
Is there a parrot in the room?
No, it's what...
That's a quote.
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't think it was bad. Yeah, I agree with you guys, actually, because it isn't one of the worst. It's a bit of fun. I mean, I do find that Paul Darrow seemed to think it was like a stage show, so it came off a bit theatre-like with his performance. But, it was full of quite good actors, except for that one who you reckon went on to better things.
Yeah.
The guy who was like, I'm the rebel, I love this planet. I mean, he just sounds so...
That's the funny thing is that, now he's like, oh, what's he doing now? Oh, we just watched him in Luther. Great.
Yeah. He's a very good actor, actually.
Yeah.
Very good actor.
But not in that.
No. But I've been watching... I've been watching some... there's a great series on Sky Arts about it's just profiling Hollywood legends over the years, and when you see some of these actors in their first roles, and they weren't actually actors, they were just drafted into Hollywood because they were good looking, and then they fell in love with Hollywood, and then eventually some of them became good actors, and some of them obviously like Spencer Tracy were already had it in with them to be a good actor. But this is the sort of thing, actors go out in their first roles, they're not going to be the best actors in the world, are they? They develop their art over time. And so I think it's acceptable that this lad, he's probably embarrassed by his performance, actually, to be fair, but it was a job for him.
So I shouldn't be too harsh on him.
No, you shouldn't. No,
ridiculous in this.
Indeed.
But it's not bad. I mean, it was budgeted as the lowest budgeted story this season, so you can't be too harsh on it. I think they tried to do the best with what they had.
They did.
Except for the Bandrels, that was pretty sad. But I'm sure if they came back to Doctor Who, they'd do them damn sight better than that. But it's okay. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
Thank you, Robert. I think we find. Robert Vance Jr. says, keeping hope out for Mary. Uh-oh.
That she'll hate it, I think.
Yeah, I think I know what Mary's going to say.
Yeah.
Mary, what did you think of it?
Well, I did hate it. The cheesy sets, the cheesy acting on the part of Paul Darrow. Everybody else was in it 100%. I mean, they played everything very seriously. There weren't any extras in there, who were, acting differently than how they were supposed to or anything. I loved the costumes. I really I can see us wearing things like that in the future.
I'm not wearing that. Sorry.
The direction that we're going, things getting looser and more grubby and all that. And as I brought up twice, Perry, who just kind of backs away against a wall and screams rather than actually gets away. There were just so many things that were, that just didn't make sense. And that whole thing and that whole padded scene in episode 2, that was a real snoozer. And of course we find out that had to be written and acted and added in later because they were that much short of time.
Yeah.
And I think that the story kind of falls apart. What was I? I did read, though, that at the time, this was a very popular episode with people who are not Doctor Who fans.
Oh, right.
Because it doesn't have any real continuity issues. There was nothing you had to know already going into it.
Mind you, Mary, you say that. Some people were querying, did I miss an adventure with the Third Doctor and Joe?
Well, not really, because the Doctor explains, he says, I was here, that was me, at some other time. And But it was kind of a colorful and fun romp for people to just watch. You don't have to really know much before, what came before this. And of course, Perry was popular with everybody. But yeah, like I said, the acting, except for Paul Darrow, was really good. And I wished that Herbert would have stuck around as a companion. I really enjoyed him much more than screaming, helpless Perry. But overall, I found it boring, and I was looking at my watch, trying to, is this going to be over, kind of thing. So that's my opinion.
Okay, well, it's understandable to a certain extent. You won't get any body complaining, because I think Timelash won 4-1. So well done, Timelash.
I didn't know it was a competition.
Well, it's not necessarily a competition. We don't often get stories that everybody likes. So that's understandable, but when we all do like, when it do feel like it's a big achievement, don't we, for the writers and the performers in the show. Robert Vance Jr. says he's done some funny emojis, and it says Mary at the end of it. So we now can move on to feedback. Now Kirby has posted a request for feedback.
Yes. Every single week for some reason.
Underneath a video that Laurie Nix has posted, it looks like a guinea pig. Sorry,
guys were talking over each other.
No, I was just saying that's underneath a video that Laurie Nix has posted of her with a guinea pig.
Malin.
Yeah.
Cute
guinea pig.
Yes, I think we should put into the group rules that you're not allowed to post extensively cute things on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast group.
Malin.
It's their excuse for watching the feed.
Yes, I'm joking, Robert. Malin. Right then, go on then, Kirby.
Malin.
Yes.
I just like to, before we go into feedback, mark the fact that about 20 minutes ago, Bob and Doug splashed down in the ocean, returning from
my goodness,
space station.
I'd forgotten about them.
And the space program lives.
Yeah, and long may it do so. I love the way they managed to put that comet up as well. That was quite amazing, wasn't it? While they were up there.
While they were up there. Hung it up there.
Go on then, Kirby.
How's it look from down there? They say they can see it. Good.
Kirby.
Okay, I've been waiting.
I'm waiting for you for a change.
You may continue now, Kirby.
Okay, Jefferson Liang says the obvious. He says Herbert G. Wells.
Yeah.
Alan T. Butcher says one of the greats. I'm assuming he's
being a bit sarky there, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was talking about the story.
Right, I know. Robert Wentz Jr. says this world science project, and a picture of the Timelash interior.
Yeah.
He also, ladies and gentlemen, one of the Blue Man group. I like the android.
Yeah.
I really like the android. And then I point out that Dean Hollingsworth was later in the
Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Thank you. And then his review of Timelash felt like watching a bad school play. Probably Ian's plays in Florida are better than this week's story and cheap design. So what happened after the last two stories that we get this? Worse than Warriors of the Deep, Perry finally looked great and the look of the Borad was okay, but rehashing the plot of Twin Dilemma, wanting to populate the planet with people like him, just didn't work. Paul Darrow's scenery chewing was one of the best parts. Trying out his Richard III reenactment was funny at times. The Blue Man android was a bit boring. No, he wasn't. I know it's supposed to look like there's more than one, but it's the same one over and over. Well, they're android. David Chandler's H.G. Wells was wooden and spineless. This story was mentioned in the Sarah Jane Adventures 2010 Death of the Doctor with the Joe Smith character. What?
Joe Grant.
Joe Grant, yeah. Talking about
Smith,
Planet.
She was, what was that guy's name in Green Death?
Who'd she marry?
Jones, his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Jones.
Joe Jones, yeah.
So he's mixing up Sarah Jane Smith and Joe Grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about the planet. And yeah, I tried to find that, but I couldn't find it. I wonder if a book or Big Finish revisited the Third Doctor story. 1.5 out of 5. Well, Mary could tell us if they revisited.
Not to my knowledge. No.
Yeah, not to my knowledge either.
No.
Well, they may well do.
I'm skipping Ian's script, although I made a comment about his script.
Okay, well, don't. You can comment about it afterwards.
I know. Rehash and rubbishy. But I like it. I like Herbert as a companion. I like the love letter written in Crayola that they wrote to H.G. Wells stories. Of course, it could have been 1,000 times better. Of course, I am sick of Perry in peril and everyone wanting to mate with her, including most students.
Yeah.
But there are callbacks to the Third Doctor and Joe, time manipulation that was novel to see when it aired, the Doctor being very doctorish and exasperatedly
Exasperatedly.
Yeah.
Exasperatedly.
That's a good word.
Finally, like Perry's outfit and color choices and her excellent use of acid plant to the face. Beyond the typically awful puppets and evildoers munching on scenery, the supporting cast of good guys kept a straight face and acted a bit.
Yeah.
Is this one for the ages? No. But I don't hate it and even enjoyed most of it over my tea and toast.
Yeah.
Anyway, time washes everything clean except my breakfast dishes. Robert Lynch Jr. says, love your review. Sounds like so bad it's good to you.
That's true.
Neil James. I wonder who's typing in something. It's probably Robert.
What?
Neil James says, Timelash. I've never liked the saying so bad it's good, but if I was forced to think of an example for this, then Timelash may be it. The story is horribly cheap, stuffed with way too many boring characters, and appallingly directed. However, it doesn't annoy me like The Twin Dilemma or Vengeance on Faros do. There is some horrible acting on display, with some of the cast literally looking like they were half asleep. The Banville ambassador is hilariously bad and comes complete with a silly voice. In fact, it's so embarrassing it actually makes the Morlocks creature look pretty decent, which it certainly isn't. The performance of Tekka is outrageous, and I really enjoy it. Paul Darrow is clearly determined to enjoy himself despite acting alongside a bunch of stunned slugs. I quite like the guy that plays Micros.
Yeah.
Micros, too.
No, it's Micros.
Oh, is it Micros?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least he's trying. Bina just about manages to stay awake long enough to have a few nice moments of comedy with Herbert, but the standout for me is Robert Ashby as the Borat.
Yeah.
He has a fantastic voice, and his makeup is marvelous. Not much to say about the Doc and Perry, but they're much more settled into their roles now, which is an improvement. Finally, the Timelash itself looks very Christmassy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's bad, but I find it strangely watchable. 2 stars out of 5. Oh, they filmed that the day before Christmas.
Oh, there you go. That's probably why it's Christmassy.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what was funny? I think actually Paul Darrow was paying back Colin Baker overacting as Baben Baben the Barbarian or whatever. I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah, someone
Baben
told
the
me
Butcher.
that went up, and I bother watching it.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
Is that the end of your feedback section, Kirby?
Yes.
Well, we all have a bit of a swan song. 'Cause my voice, as you can probably guess, my voice isn't going to last long enough to do too much reading out. Jeff Waddle says, this is via the email, that's 20mb.feedback@gmail.com. My mum always taught me that if you have nothing nice to say about someone or something, then don't say anything at all. So here's what I think of Timelash, and then there's basically nothing. And then take care, everyone.
So well done.
Yeah.
Right, Kirby, I'm going to send you something because, like I say, I want you to read it.
Wait, why me? I just did something.
You just did something, did you?
To Ian.
No, I'll send it to you. There you go. It's some
because I'll get it next.
Some words from Terry Miles.
Oh,
if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. I thought I was getting Alan T. Butcher's.
No, that's being dispatched to Mary as we speak. So this is turning into a Slate podcast for a change.
Terry Miles says, hello, Adam, and good evening, everybody. When Linda and I started watching this one, we thought, oh, look, it's Avon. No, wait a minute, it's King Richard III. No, it's Tekka. Sorry, Malin Tekka. Didn't we just have Surveillance last week?
Servalan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Blake 7, Kirby.
Yes.
Oh,
You know the
okay.
story we watched last week? With the bad lady? That's Servalan.
I've only seen a few Blake 7s, so I'm not familiar with the characters.
You Star Trek fan before you were a Blake 7 fan.
I want to be a Blake 7 fan, but you can't get it in this country.
Oh, dear. You can get it on DVD.
You can get all the Big Finish stories of Blake 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, what can I say about this story? Morlocks comes to mind. What else? Nice to see that Professor Chronotis, the Keeper of Traka, and the old man look just like Dennis Carey.
Yeah.
G. Wells was in it again. Looks like the local apiarist society were present to catch any bees that appeared on set. Okay.
Apiarist, yeah.
Yeah, apiarist, yes.
Okay. I had to laugh when Vina's dad put the power up to maximum and had to fumble the red handle back onto the sliders. He had pulled it away when he turned to talk to Mikros, whatever his name was.
Yeah,
Slick back hair guy. There were a lot of wooden actors in this one, but the android doing his dance floor robot moves was good. Yes. I have no idea why the doctor has reverted to the twin dilemma doctor, shouting and being a bully. I thought he'd gone out of that 2 stories back.
No.
Not really.
No, I thought it was okay.
Really?
I thought it was really good.
In case you are not sure, I found this one to be more of a filler than when I first watched it on transmission, as it was between 2 very good stories. Can't wait for the next story, although I'm not sure who the baddies are in this one. By the way, my wife Linda and myself are enjoying the journey through the Doctor Who shows with you.
Thank you
very much.
Enjoying having you with us.
Nice.
What's the title of the next one?
Revelation of the Daleks.
Yeah, I can't remember who the bad guy is either.
Dav.
Might be the Daleks.
Dav something or other.
Davros?
They wouldn't be that obvious.
Right then, there's another bit of feedback, which is got to be preceded by this.
Hello, 20 Megabyte Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Captain.
Hello, Ian.
Timelash by Glenn McCoy. Prepare the Timelash. The Doctor tells Perry he is going to take her to a constellation. The writers did not understand constellations in Classic Who. They're just groups of stars seen from Earth that seem to be together. Perry is conservatively dressed. Why do the guards wear beekeeper outfits? Another one from Blake 7. The planet car full? It only takes 5 people to fill a car. The Drashig, Morlocks, was rubbish, as usual. The joke at the end about Scotland is that the disfigured Borad is sent by Timelash to Loch Ness to become the famous monster.
Indeed.
I expect this gave Mel Gibson the idea to paint half his face blue when playing a Scotsman in Braveheart. The first US astronauts for decades are going to splash into the ocean about now.
Yeah.
Did you hear that car?
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Haley?
Oh, God, yes.
Someone pointed out to JNT that there had already been a Loch Ness story he had forgotten, so he quickly made up a story that there were really 2 monsters.
Oh, okay. Didn't get that. I thought, well, maybe that was the real Loch Ness monster, and the one that was put in there by the Zygons was a fake.
No, there were 2.
Okay,
yeah, but
whatever.
the thing is that all sightings are different shapes anyway, so...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a big place.
What, Loch Ness?
Yeah.
Okay, before
I also pointed out, I commented after Ian Kirk's script, too many Ians.
It's the perfect amount. Thank you very much. Quite happy with the ratio.
New Who writers don't understand constellations either, with the whole the 10th Doctor going, always claiming he's from the constellation of Cerberus. Okay. Actually, I think that was from Old Who, and he just says it more.
I'll do reference book forward.
Okay. Moving on. Back to the feed. In reference to Mary, Laura Nick said her name is Missy after all. And then Robert Vance Jr. said, yeah, that's right, Robert, payback. And then he says, just like not watching Discovery, Kirby. And that's going back a bit to when I was referencing Star Trek Discovery. Okay, so Mary, you have some blurb.
Well, I do. And before I read it, I just want to say, an episode like the one we're reviewing, you can tell how, I'd say, horrible it was by how much fun everyone is having making fun of it. Whenever it's a good episode, we're all like, oh, this was good and oh, that was good. You know, we all tend to agree with each other. But when it's as messy as this one was, yes, everybody's got, wonderful, clever opinions to express about it. So that says something, I think.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So from Ellen T. Butcher, be good. And if you can't be good, be careful. Or Tucker the Third, return to Carfell. Dear 20 Megabyters, Timelash is, of course, a closely studied citation of the different levels of understanding that can develop within a society about what is happening and how things are organized. The Borad has set up a cover story that a benevolent government of necessity is placed under a kindly avuncular scientist who, for security reasons, does not appear in public. The reality is more unsavory, but this is kept secret, even from members of the inner sanctum, with only one of their number allowed to see the full horror, and that person having to be either deeply unscrupulous and ambitious, or to have too much to lose to expose it. The banning of mirrors clearly represents the lack of self-critical perspective required by the perpetrators of such facades. This scenario obviously applies in dictatorial circumstances, but maybe also could be applied within a notionally democratic setup. Some say this has already happened. It should be noted that whilst some suggest this story is total rubbish, they are, of course, out of their minds. It is, of course, a perfectly solid story with some interesting quirks and just a few significant but not overwhelming production flaws. And yes, you guessed it, there is no reason at all why an alien life form should not look like a sock puppet. We also learn that Saliavin escaped the keepership. Saliavin, thank you. We also learned Saliavin escaped the keepership of Traken after all and spent some time on Carfell before retiring to Cambridge. Whilst there, his image was used to create a dictatorial avatar employed by some chap called Magellan T. Borad. Also, Avon went out of his mind after escaping being shot by the Federation, but still achieved high office after relocating to Carfell. All in all, Timelash is an unfairly maligned story which has limited production flaws of a superficial nature. The acting is a little patchy with a broad spectrum of capability on show, but the often mentioned Darrow performance is in fact very both appropriate and very entertaining, and he certainly wasn't mailing it in, especially once Taka becomes Malin. Herbert is a little extreme on the portrayal of a callowly, youthful great man. In truth, though, whilst H.G. Wells was a great mind and a solid socialist, he was also fairly well renowned for losing his head somewhat in female company. The sterile nature of the sets is wholly appropriate in presenting a society which has been comprehensively suppressed. Referencing an unseen Third Doctor visit to Carfell is done quite strikingly and adds a little depth to the Doctor's involvement, and interestingly allows casual reference back to Joe Grant, suggesting calmer moments of personal communication between the Doctor and his companion than we usually see.
Yes.
Colin Baker provides quite a stern performance here, which is well judged and convincing. It is always nice to see Perry's botany on display, that's what she said, but Nicola Bryant is badly let down here by a script which unusually gives Perry virtually no agency at all. This story is perhaps one episode too short, as we would obviously love to see Perry do something of her own volition, or at least trying out some further forms of restraining devices. Next up, Doctor Who and the capitalistic appropriation of death, or this is recycling gone mad, quite frankly. those are my thoughts. Alan T. Butcher.
Well, thank you very much, Alan. That's got me thinking, actually, because we're going to move on to Doctor Who news. It's a little bit of an announcement for the show. Now, over the last 10 years and a bit...
You're pregnant?
I beg your pardon?
You're pregnant?
Shut up. Over the last 10 years and a bit, we've been blessed with sponsorship from the likes of whowon.co.uk, who no longer have a shop, but I will continue to plug them for free anyway, and, of course, the illustrious lavasi.co.uk.
Lavasi.co.uk?
Yes, indeed.
Beat you.
I am absolutely delighted to announce that Heroes, a fab store, essentially a comic shop in Newport, have agreed to also sponsor the show under the same terms once they've sorted out their international shipping situation on their website. Now, Heroes are a regular haunt for us geeks on the Isle of Wight, and they're supported.
From there, do you? Things?
Pardon?
You buy pops, your things.
Well, Funko Pops, yeah.
Figures,
well, I do order them off online as well, but I was in a situation where I ordered Stan Lee from the Thor Ragnarok.
He's dead.
Bid you be quiet.
How could you order him?
Ordered the Funko Pop for Stan Lee from Thor Ragnarok, and I ordered. Basically, they arrived in the store in Newport, so I cancelled the order off eBay because they still hadn't turned up after months. And the bloke off eBay very kindly gave me my money back, and it actually cost me less to get them from Heroes. So yes, I've got some rather fab stuff on there, but they also sell comics and other memorabilia, and their website is rather fab. Of course, if you're not in Great Britain, you can't actually reap the benefits at the moment of the Instant stuff.
People who are in the UK, what's their address?
Well, I was trying to work my way around to that one slowly because I haven't actually got it available at the moment. So I was trying to. I was trying to
buying time.
Yes, well done. I was buying time.
He was buying a certain amount of...
I wouldn't say that, Robert, because unfortunately people will start looking at heroes.co.uk and find it to be the wrong web address. So I'm just looking it up now.
And now I've said it 3 times.
It could well be heroes.co.uk. They're on Facebook.
Or...
Heroes Isle of Wight. Hang on, Hero Bay are pop vinyl collectors. Because they just
like sending something to Santa Claus, the North Pole.
They've only recently set up a website, and they give regular customers all sorts of. What?
Okay, they're in Newport. Is there an Old Port?
You're gonna get hit.
Well, there probably is an Old Port somewhere. The ancient capital of the Isle of Wight is a place called Newtown, but it's a very old village, not even a new town. So
that makes sense.
Anyway, I can't find it now, thanks to you lot putting me off. Anyway, yeah, so Heroes are going to be... Heroes... What? No, don't Google it. They've only just set up their website, so it won't come up.
Kirby will probably find it.
No, we won't. He'll find something that's not in the slightest bit related. Anyway, I'm to say, Heroes have supported FantasyCon from day one. They're always supporting.
No faith, Kirby. No faith.
Events on the Isle of Wight. And what?
He's found it. See?
Go on then. If it's wrong.
Heroes. IWHeroes.co.uk.
Yeah, I said that though, but just forgot to put the IW bit on there. Yeah, so IWheroes.co.uk indeed have a website. But at the moment, I think in Britain you're okay if you want to order stuff from them. And their blooming site more reliable than ordering, especially Funko Pops, from other media. They'll actually have the stuff in shop. It'll tell you if it's in stock. And if you get very friendly with them, they might even give you a pre-order facility like I've got. But yeah, that's to say, if you go to their website, you'll see they sell amazing memorabilia, Warhammer stuff, and stuff like graphic novels and comics. And you get if you come to the Isle of Wight and you want to visit them, they do regular free comic days and stuff like that. So it's a fab place. One of my favourite places to shop.
It's a geek shop.
It is.
Isn't it?
It's a geek shop.
And modelling paints and tools.
Do they?
Yeah, modelling paints and tools, homeware.
Yeah, so Alan T. Butcher
if I wanted to paint myself a model, I could.
I just posted the website on the Facebook group.
Yeah, well,
it's not to paint yourself as a model.
It's not properly. It's an announcement, not a launch. What have we got on the feed? It says...
you had to buy a lot more paint than that.
Just like not watching Discovery, Kirby, and that's Robert Vance Jr. Then he said the Loch Ness Monster gets controlled by a bunch of Zygons. Then he says, guess what, I'm out of my mind. Guess what, I'm out of my mind, lol. Alan T. Butcher, is that Heroes? Now, Alan is being very cheeky because he's met the guys from Heroes on all the conventions he's attended on the Isle of Wight. Now, I've got something I got from Heroes I wanted to show you. I'm going over here now. It's this rather splendid thing. It is.
Splendid and
I can't see it because I've been told not to watch the video.
Okay, you can watch it now. It's
well, no, I have to wait 5 minutes.
5 minutes. It's this amazing Dock with Clock Tower Back to the Future
just saw some bum crack.
What?
Oh dear God!
Isn't it cool?
You actually showed some bum crack.
That's because I bent down to pick it up. There it is.
Your pants up.
It's fantastic.
You can send it to me.
One of my favourite pieces.
Wow, that's cool.
Dock with Clock Tower.
I want that.
Do they have any Doctor Who stuff?
Yeah, Funko Pops, and they have. They do have Doctor Who stuff. Yes. This is another thing I got, which is a Saru figure. I just knocked my microphone. From Star Trek Discovery, and this thing here, which is
figure?
Stan Lee from Thor Ragnarok. It's really quite cool.
Stan Lee who?
So I'm very pleased with that. And,
at least show it properly.
I just did show you it. You have to wait. But all the Funko Pops, or most of them, I've got in this room, were bought from Heroes, and they have loyalty. They have a loyalty card as well. So when you buy a Funko Pop, you get this card stamped. When you've bought 10, you get one for free. And my Saru was free. That's enough about Heroes, but I'm absolutely thrilled to bits that they've decided to support the show. The dog wants to.
So Adam can spend more money on geek stuff.
Absolutely.
Fill his man cave.
For my man cave, yes. I've got some these things called Energizer USB multicolour mood lights, which I'm going to put around my telly. Because Isabella has one in her room. So I feel if this is a man cave, you should see Isabella's room. She's got wall-to-wall Funko Pops.
Of what they look like?
What?
The lights.
Well, how can I demonstrate? I haven't put them up yet.
Well, that's pretty silly.
Oh, if I get round to it, I might post a video on the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast Facebook, which you can join.
Go up to Izzy's room.
I'm not going to do that. She's 14 years old, and you have to have special dispensation to enter her room. Right then, so Doctor Who news, the official 2021 Doctor Who annual, which looks really quite cool.
I don't reckon.
I love the cover's great. And it says Penguin Random House Children and BBC Studios have announced the publication of Doctor Who, the official annual 2021, which includes an exclusive tie-in to Time Lord Victorious. Now, I think this Time Lord Victorious thing, although very fascinating, is going across too many platforms, and I don't think I'll ever be able to keep up with it.
You couldn't be able to buy them all, could you? It'd be...
No.
Mind you, I think they'd probably just only have a little theme to do with the whole overarching
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
so. I like the idea, but I'm not going to be able to keep up with it because it's like I say, I'm not going to. I'd never sort of engage in every single platform of Doctor Who, and I think that the mega fans would be fine with it, wouldn't they? They'd be able to talk about it and stuff.
Besides the cost, think about the cost if you had to get everything in there.
Yeah. When I had the Doctor Who Wii game with the 11th Doctor, and it was quite good fun up to a point, and I just lost interest.
Wasn't someone talking about weeing into the Timelash?
Shut up, Kirby. Big Finish offers free Doctor Who. So, does it?
Yeah, what they've been doing through the lockdown, they started off, I think on the Mondays or something, you could download a free audio. Usually it's just like the first of a set.
Only a first one, so you have to buy the rest.
They've decided to do it again because it was so popular. So they've chosen from the Worlds of Doctor Who, which is a set containing 4 stories, sort of linked. You get the first story, which is a Jago and Light.
Well, sadly, by the time this show goes out, apart from obviously the live bit, the offer ends at midnight today. So that's Sunday. So by the time the show goes out,
it does.
So good on you if you got one.
Yeah.
But Kirby, there's Blake 7 in there, so maybe you could familiarize yourself with.
The
I'm not going to start.
He still hasn't watched Discovery yet.
Yeah, you need to watch it. You need to watch the TV series first.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think you get a lot of fun out of the CDs, the audios.
Yeah, well, maybe so. Right then, so new independent comic set in Doctor Who Universe, which I think we talked about last week, so I'm not going to talk about it again. So a lot of Doctor Who news. Did you say something, Kirby?
No.
Oh,
can I say something about that Time Lord Victorious?
Go on then.
There was also, I think it's the online VR game or whatever. That's part of it as well, with the 13th Doctor. But see, if you don't have VR, you couldn't experience that, could you?
No. I'm hoping to get the PS5 eventually when it comes out.
Oh, that's going to be expensive when that comes out.
No, but I bet the VR on that is going to be.
Well, you can already get VR on the PS4.
I know, but I bet. Just let me speak. The VR, I reckon, the VR on the PS5 is going to be mind blowing compared with on the PS4. Just saying, I haven't actually experienced it on the PS4.
Do you think they're going to release a new headset and all that?
Maybe so. I don't know, but anyway,
because they need to.
I haven't got a games console. I haven't had a games console of my own since the Sega Saturn.
The Wii.
The Sega Saturn. The Wii was a family one. The Sega Saturn was mine.
You're talking about a Wii game, so you had that since.
No, that's not mine though.
Yeah.
And we're back to the Wii.
Isabella has a PS4. I'd like to go back into
Wii,
gaming.
Do you know, if you have a look at, I think it's inside the controller. The name of the code, it starts POO.
Does it now?
Poo. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
It's an in joke. So if you have a look at
it's an in joke, as in inside the remote. Fantastic. I really wish I hadn't gone down that road now. Lillian Robbins says bum crack. Robert Vance Jr. says I got the Black Widow one, Adam. Thank you, Robert. Debbie Railroad says leave Izzy alone, lol. And then she says, ooh, Big Finish freebie. And then she says, you can come mess about on my PS4 if you like. Well, I've got one upstairs. When she goes back to school, on Mondays, I can mess around on hers. And as it's on my account, she wouldn't know. However, I want a PS5. And Debbie Melrose, what did you think of Timelash? Wait for that to come up later on. Right then. We're talking about whowon.co.uk.
It looks like I've got the entire series 1 of Blake 7, so maybe I should watch it.
Well done, Kirby. Get on with that then. I'm not going to, but you can. Right, coming soon on whowon.co.uk is the figure of Graham from Doctor Who. In fact, we talked about B&M and their sets that they've got out, the new sets, and they've got like the Fourth Doctor companion set, which isn't complete because it doesn't have anybody but Sarah Jane, Romana 1 and Romana 2, but it's still a really good set.
Yeah, but it's still good.
It's quite expensive, but
I think it's the first young Sarah one as well.
Yeah, it's her in
apparently
Genesis
of the Daleks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite good. But there's some other sets in that are really good. But I don't think they're going to be around for long. So if you've got the money, I'd get them while they're available. But yeah, it's quite a particularly nice little set. That there's also got the 13th Doctor Friend and Foe set as well, which has got just 2 of the companions, which is Ryan and Yaz, and of course what was the baddie in it? It was a baddie. I can't remember what the baddie is now. The Foe.
Tim Shaw.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Tim Shaw. Anyway, so yeah, some good sets coming out available at B&M. There's a story called Icebergs, a Torchwood story, which is available on pre-order, along with the Lovecraft Invasion, which is a 6th Doctor Big Finish story. Now, I last week called the Reconnaissance Dalek the Renaissance Dalek for some reason, because I can't read properly. Yeah, the Reconnaissance Dalek is also
of the Daleks.
A figure.
Inspired a title.
Very nice little figure coming out for price $12.99. And of course the new 13th Doctor posable action figure with the red T-shirt. I've got the one here with the blue one. So that might be a nice thing for me to get personally.
Costume for her. I hate that costume.
The thing, I took all my Doctors out of their packaging, so I might get that one and keep it in its packaging.
I've still got mine in my packaging.
I've got the signed 11th Doctor figure still in its packaging somewhere that Matt Smith signed for me. But what the hell am I going to do with it? Anyway, so that's whowon.co.uk. Now, Lavazzi, we talked last week about Lavazzi's lovely non-Doctor Who related items, but I feel this week we should refer again to their scarves, even though it's not really the weather in Britain at the moment to be wearing
it is over
extremely long
here.
scarves. Is it? Is it quite cold where you are then, Robert?
Oh, I'm wearing a cardigan as well as my dressing gown, flannel pyjamas.
Yeah, I didn't want a fashion statement. I just wondered if it was cold or not. There's also a Doctor Who blog on. There's Doctor Who blog.
Socks.
All right, thank you, Robert. There's a Doctor Who blog available on the Lavazi website as well. But you can get the Fourth Doctor's scarves, both the traditional version and the Series 18th version. You can get the 13th Doctor's scarf as well. Which I quite like. I like the pride elements that they've incorporated into the 13th Doctor's design, and I think that's it's a very popular motif at the moment, even if you're not of the LGBTT whatever it is
QI
fraternity. I went to the Isle Festival last year, and they had a gay pride sort of stand there, and I said I love these things, the chats behind the thing. I said, but how does it fit in with me being a heterosexual man wearing stuff and supporting gay pride? And he called me something like a supporting brother or something like that. I don't know. He came up with a lovely statement, and we all got our pride bangles. My pride bangle is currently around my Amazon Echo device at the moment. If you see my latest TikTok joke that is incorporated my Alexa thing, you'll see my pride band on there. So, and as I say that, I know I've sort of stretched that out a bit, but that's what I do like about the 13th Doctor's outfit, is even though it's not actually the pride motif, it's supposed to be a sort of like a homage to it. And I'm tempted, even though it's a girly scarf, I'm quite tempted to get that. Because I have the 13th Doctor T-shirt. Pardon?
So colourful and fun.
They are, yeah.
In the meantime, Debbie Melrose has responded to your question.
Thank you, Mary, for helping me with that one. Debbie Melrose says, I found it a bit boring, and no wonder you bloody told me to look at that. I found it a bit boring after last weekend. I know I wasn't meant to laugh, but the android was funny. Nice use of effects, though. And Terry Miles says, Jadoon. And then says, I've tried to get the sets and they run out. The sets of what?
Yeah.
They run out just after they've been delivered.
You know what people do? People buy the sets. Scalpers.
Oh, B&M
lots
sets.
of the sets up. And then, so there's none left, and then they try to sell them online for
Yeah, I know. I've tried that before. Do you know I tried that with
I hate those pricks.
Oh, damn. I tried that with the Harry Potter books, specifically Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I bought 4 copies of that because they were first editions. I've still got them. Not really worth it. Not really. They're mint condition to a certain extent, but
serves you right.
All right, shut your face, you. So where do we go? I was on Doctor Who News. Oh yes, that was Lavazi. Yes, so visit lavazi.co.uk and buy yourself a Fourth Doctor scarf ready for the winter, and
or
also for something. Yeah, it's a good idea. I've got one. Kirby's got 15. That's about it, really. Next week, we will be talking about Revelation of the Daleks.
Wow.
Which you just revealed what it was.
Did I? Oh, revelation, as in revelation of the Daleks, which is the last of this particular series of Doctor Who, before we return to the 25-minute format episodes. So already we're coming to the end of the Sixth Doctor era.
Can I just mention something?
No.
I just got a really funny picture when Barry mentions about seeing photos of Joe Grant. I could just imagine the Doctor getting out a photo album and saying, "Well, this was when we went to the planet of the spiders." And can you imagine that?
No.
No, when they were just like doing fun things.
Well, do you remember
it's not like, oh, hang on a second, I'll just kill the spider, then we'll take a photo.
Yeah, but do you remember when the second Doctor, when Zoe came aboard the TARDIS during the second Doctor's era, and the Doctor put that thing on his head and sort of projected psychically the repeat of the Power of the Daleks.
Spectacle of the Daleks.
Yeah, so it is possible, but
I wish you could do that right now.
Do you? Oh, well, so we can see Power of the Daleks available on BritBox in its animated format.
Huh? Evil? I think you're thinking about Power.
I'm doing Power of the Daleks. Oh, you thought they repeated Evil, did they?
Yeah, they repeated Evil.
Oh, I thought it was Power they repeated. Oh, well, it doesn't matter though, does it? So that's it. Like I say, next week, Revelation of the Daleks.
Now, did Ian say he's not joining us?
Actually, he did hint that he wasn't going to be joining us next week, didn't you, Ian?
I have duties elsewhere at my own show.
There you go.
So, yes, so I'll be back at Colton for the week. But like I said, I chose Timelash because it normally gets a bit of a lashing. So
it doesn't get a lashing here unless you're Mary Lang and Debbie Melrose.
And I could have skipped it all.
So without Ian next week,
you're going to be back again, Ian.
Well, we've still got some more Six Doctor stuff.
Dave lets me out, the short leash I'm on,
Anyway,
well, you'll be back the week after that, right?
Yeah. If you're a good boy.
That's not going to happen, is it?
Well, I guess we'll never see again, huh?
All right then. So Robert Vance Jr. says bye all. Bye all until next week. Oh, well, goodbye, Robert. Everybody done before I say my goodbyes to everybody? Good, that's everyone's gone quiet. So until next time, thank you for listening, watching, taking part, providing feedback. Keep it coming, and take care until next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Bye.
Crow.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production sponsored by whowon.co.uk and lavazi.co.uk. We are a proud member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended.